Penguin Random House Audio presents Just the Good Stuff. No BS secrets to success, no matter what life throws at you. By Jim Vandehei. Read for you by Jonathan Todd Ross. Introduction. I was among the most unremarkable, underachieving, unimpressive 19-year-olds you could have stumbled across in 1990. Stoned more often than studying, I drank copious amounts of beer, smoked camels, delivered pizza. My workouts consisted of dragging my ass out of bed and sprinting to class, often late, usually unprepared. There was a good reason my high school guidance counselor told my deflated parents there was no way I was college-bound. I graduated in the bottom third of my 100-person class at Lourdes Academy in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I had to attend the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh Extension, a 2-year school, just to smuggle myself into the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh, a 4-year one in my hometown. A year into UWO, I was staring at a 1.491 GPA and making the guidance counselor's case daily, unambiguously, emphatically. I was one more wasted, literally and figuratively, semester away from getting the boot. Then, I yanked my head from my ass, thanks to stumbling into 2 new passions, journalism and politics. We can save for later the debate over the worst vice, politics or Jägermeister shots. Suddenly, I had an intense interest in 2 new things that, for reasons I cannot fully explain, came naturally. My twin interests were animated by my innate mischievousness, contrarian impulses, long poker nights, anti-establishment bent, and ease with people of all stripes at dive bars. These passions launched me on a wild spin through media, politics, and the startup world. It started conventionally, with small gigs at obscure publications like New Fuels Report and Roll Call, turning into bigger gigs at the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. It thrust me through wholly unforeseeable trips, through presidential impeachments and congressional coups, aboard Air Force One, on stage moderating a presidential debate, inside a wild Oval Office lunch with Donald Trump on TV, and ultimately atop 2 successful media startups, Politico and Axios. 30 years later, I am running Axios, richer than I ever imagined, fanatical about health and self-discipline, and pretty decent at this leadership thing. My marriage is strong, my kids and family seem to like me, I still like beer, and tequila, and gin, and bourbon, but I feel, at least as of the writing of this book, I have my act together more often than not. Thankfully for this book, I took close notes as I went. About the type of people you ought to emulate, and the type you ought to excommunicate. About the values that tease out the best in people, and those that torment. About the hacks and habits that work, and those that people falsely assume work. About the small things it takes to thrive at your profession, and at life. And about the magic of having a specific plan for making the most of your gifts and opportunities, regardless of your past or present. It is nonsense that to shine, you need to go to a fancy school, bootlick bosses, or pay your dues at crappy jobs working for bad people to rise in life. You do not need to get 1,500 on your SATs, or to have a sky-high IQ or family connections. You don't even need sparkling talents. You simply need to want to construct goodness and greatness with whatever life throws at you. This starts by grounding yourself with unbreakable core values, and watching, learning, and copying those who do it, and get it right. But also by watching and studying those who screw it up. You need to find your passions, picked by you, not imposed by others. Then, outwork everyone in pursuit of shaping your destiny, your own personal greatness, on your terms, by your own measures, at your pace. This applies to every aspect of life: your work, your health, your family, your relationships, your faith, your hobbies. They all intertwine to make you, you. You need to map out what matters most, then throw yourself into turning wishes into reality, methodically. You control so much more than you think, but so many often mindlessly bob along life's current. Don't. There is an inherent hubris in writing a book of advice. You naturally come off as arrogant or a know-it-all. I am acutely aware of the shithouse luck, kind people, awesome family, and twists of fate that landed me here. And I am like so many others, an imperfect middle-of-the-pack small-town guy who worked hard, who never lost sight of life's serendipity, who feels blessed to share with others what others, or life's face slaps, shared with me. Think of me as a reporter telling the stories and secrets of people who did big or meaningful things without cutting corners, screwing over others, or being an insufferable jerk. It is written in my favorite second language, smart brevity, a concept we perfected at Axios to make reading quicker, smarter, and more memorable and manageable. Hence the bullets, tight sentences, and bolded why it matters callouts to give you context. I'm a great believer in getting to the point. Throat-clearing prefaces, thunderous overtures, wordy introductions, I can't stand them. I think that puts me squarely in the majority. The times in which we live are too fast for needless noise. None of us can bear to sit through an extended drum roll before the big reveal. So I've arranged this book as I've arranged my life, my head, my work, my companies, by cutting the crap and focusing on the good stuff. If I tell a story, there's a reason. If I offer an adage, there's a ton of experience or data, or both, behind it. What follows is the product of decades' worth of thinking, talking, commiserating, and celebrating with friends and colleagues, then compressing and grinding all that knowledge down to just the sparkly bits. Some pieces you may recognize from my finished line column, but even those have been expanded and rethought. Dostoevsky and Melville and Proust were breathtaking geniuses. They produced millions of words, but they wouldn't last 2 hours as summer interns at Axios, where we preach the gospel of get to the damn point. That's key with daily news, but even more so with daily life. At least, I think so. I am writing what I wish someone had written for me 30 years ago. A no BS guide to the real stuff real people confront with real solutions. My hope is you walk away with invaluable lessons, and your own plan to make the most out of life. Hopefully you rip out pages and tack them on your wall, or pass them along to a friend. The end goal, a new way of thinking about bringing the good stuff, success and richer meaning, to your own life and then to others. How to use this book. It took me 52 years to learn the lessons contained in this book. If you devour it in one sitting, as either a bowl of potato chips or a forced march, you'll miss a lot of the good stuff. My end of the bargain? I've made each chapter super digestible. A big idea, then examples from my life, then how-tos for you. No fluff or fat. Your end? Since I promise not to waste your time, I hope you'll take the time to soak in the big idea and to figure out how it might serve you. Read a chapter, then take a walk or have a conversation. Come back later, preferably the next day. Maybe jot down your personal takeaways, why the big idea matters to you. This'll give you a handy reference to flip through later and see how you're doing, and remind yourself of ways to construct your greatness. Life Stuff. Part 1. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. William Ernest Henley.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?